Hi guys, I'm Shmi and hello to you from Turin, Italy, where we're about to get underway with Fuel Faction Due for number 2 in Italian. This is our second adventure and we're going to be going from here in Turin all around the country towards Sardinia. Along the way we're going to be taking in many amazing roads, some great stop-offs and venues that we'll be visiting, and as well as having my own cars and my team here, I'm also joined by a few friends to make this adventure, supported by Trading 212, even more fun. So most of the time I'm going to be driving in the Vantage GT8 as well as the Vanquish Volante, but we're also joined by the two Alfa Romeos, the Giulia Quadrifoglio and the 4C Spider that will be driven by Queen Bee. Those cars are provided by Alfa Romeo for us to use. We've also got the 911 GT3 of Sophia Calate. We've got the Mini GP2 of Mark, the business manager of Shmi. We've also got Misha from Apex at the Nürburgring in the McLaren 570S. Mark's just parking up because we'll be heading in shortly for the briefing to get all of this started, but it's a big thanks to the partners who have helped make this possible. Trading 212, of course, we'll come to them later. DSW Wrapping, who helped us do all of the stickers for the cars. And then around here, Sparco, Topaz, Apex, Tollgate, All Transports, and Petrolhead Tours that will be leading the way. So I'll be jumping in and out of various of the cars on this adventure as we meander around Italy, one of the very best countries out there to drive. And in particular today, we're going to be heading mostly on the motorway, but we've got two stop-offs. The first is going to be at Sparco. We're going to be visiting the Sparco factory, taking a look around there, and then we're going to be heading from Sparco to the Alfa Romeo Museum. Hopefully I'll be driving in the Giulia later on to give that a go as well. But that's basically going to kickstart things as we then go up towards Lake Como for some days ahead of us of amazing, amazing roads. So I've got to head inside, it's time for the briefing, and then we'll be getting on the way. Hi guys, I'm Shmi. Hi Shmi, here we go. Hello guys, how are you?
I'm the only guy.
Let's get ready to roll out. Last two here, well, plus the Vanquish behind me on my right. This is the start of the adventure. By Giulia Quadrifoglio. Off we go. So let me explain what has happened so far. Well, we've lost the Mini. Unfortunately, the Mini's front suspension seems to have collapsed in some form, so that's gone to the dealer. Just a bit of gratuitous noise. And most unfortunately right now, the Vanquish just in front of us seems to have picked up a nail in the tyre. Now we stopped to give it some air, just briefly, and it's got us to just near Sparco where we are now, but we're gonna have to sort that out because the rear left tyre has a little bit of a problem. Anyway, let's flip over to that camera. Here we are then, and we haven't actually caught up with any of the other guys taking part. Misha, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm good except for the flat tyre in the Vanquish, but all well with the...
fix it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure one of the world's largest manufacturers of aftermarket safety equipment.
They will either know somebody or have something. Anyway, Sophia, how are you?
Lost you.
Yeah, well, we made it. It was only a short first leg. All well? Car going well?
Yeah.
Everything good?
Everything good. I forgot my sunglasses on the roof of Mark's car.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I was like, where are my sunglasses?
Then
And
it
then
was
I
on
fell
the
off
street,
the highway, and Mark luckily stopped and picked it up. So.
Fortunate. Lucky. Well, enjoy Sparco.
Yeah, thanks.
All good, guys?
Sorry for the flat tire.
Joe, Becky, enjoying the 4C?
Yeah, it's very very light at high speeds on the
Yeah?
handling. Like
And very heavy with lack of power steering at slow speeds.
Yeah.
We just put the roof back on because it's sunny, but it might rain.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw you taking it off.
Yeah.
Actually getting ahead of himself.
Easy enough.
So, Patrick
Hello.
and Seb on photo. Ben is, I guess, eyeing up stickers.
Just, you know, making sure everything's okay.
Good, good. Well, here we are at Sparco. This is a venue I've visited a few times before. I've been here for all my race gear, my custom race suit. I came here just a couple of weeks ago to pick up the hands device ahead of the mini challenge race. We're gonna go inside, have a look around today and see what is going on. This is the very small part of the warehouse. That whole sort of area is more warehouses because there are over 3,000 parts from helmets, gloves, race gear, wheels, seats, everything, you name it. But over here, where everyone is right now, we have the race suits. So you have some famous drivers up here. Jos Verstappen, Max's dad's suit right there. And then down on the table, a couple more custom race suits and the custom seats as well. Full performance, the Ford GT drivers, and everyone having a look around. This room is materials, embroidery and stitching. So this is where all the suits are made. Fast track area for suits being rushed off to races and the like. And my race suit will have actually come through here itself as well, just getting its parts done. And I have the Schmie 150 logo embroidered onto mine. All done here. We've just had a pretty exciting look around where the seats are made. Now, no cameras allowed in there, but we've been seeing the seats for the Chiron and the new Ford GT, so discovering about that. But now the guys, Joe and Ben, are going to take the Vanquish because when we came out, that tyre was basically flat. It's been pumped up. There's a garage just over 1 kilometre away, so they're going to take the car over there and fingers crossed be able to get that sorted out. I'm not sure if we're going to hang around or if we're going to head off to our next stop with the other cars, but you might have seen also, we've been rejoined by the Mini, suspension sorted, just a loose bolt. That's now back up and running and going to be with us for the rest. From here, Vanquish is heading off. It does sound good. But it's been a really nice visit here to Sparco actually to get this day started, and the sun is out, the building's looking very bright white and blue, but the seats, they always, well, I knew they already made the Veyron seats, the Raventon seats, the Alfa 8C, the Giulia Quadrifoglio seats, they make that too, but seeing the sort of other stuff and knowing that my Ford GT seat, my seat for my Ford GT in future is going to be made right here at the Sparco factory in Turin. But yeah, let's see what happens. We'll maybe be getting back on the road. So this is pretty neat. Nice little present here. A Sparco bag with the Due logo on it too. One for everyone.
Yes.
Nice little touches. That's cool. Very, very nice. Thank you, Sparco. Love that a lot. Now to everybody asking why GT8 not LT on this, here's why. The boot, the luggage space. Patrick,
Yeah.
did you need some space for some extra stuff?
Well, we got given these lovely Sparco bags, as you've
Yeah.
probably just seen, and they don't fit the 4C, nor do our actual bags with our clothes, which are in the Giulia. So, yeah, this is why we brought these cars are not the LT, which also doesn't have much.
Yeah, so back here I've basically got 3 weeks of luggage and my co-driver's luggage and those and a lot of our t-shirts. You might also have noticed the t-shirts, the Fuel Faction Due t-shirts,
Yes.
as worn there by Misha.
Yeah, and I wanted to point out one more thing. We have the 570, but I was really reconsidering taking the M2 with us because of the same reason, luggage
Yeah,
reasons.
for luggage,
and the
just the
comfort
bonnet.
reasons as well.
Yeah, well, we managed, and we've also got the back seat, by the way, or the parcel shelf on the back seat area. So yes, not too bad. Museo Storico Alfa Romeo. This is where we're coming, the Alfa Romeo Museum near to Milan in Italy. So we're at the back. We've got to find the others, who I think are in front of us. There they are, we found them all. And we're going to drive into the gates and have a look here. Down there is the museum, but first stop is going to be lunch, because I'm pretty sure I am not alone in being very hungry.
We all
Yes, exactly. It is food time, and we've arranged food here at the museum, and then we will go exploring.
to one of the classic Alphas that I'm so excited to see in the 4C.
Before we go and take a look around the Alfa Romeo Museum, Patrick here was the winner of last year's Trading 212 competition, our internal competition.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. So, and I think I profited over £2,000 with the 10,000 practice count that we had at the beginning.
And his prize for that, basically, was to drive this Tour Due in his favourite car, the Alfa Romeo 4C Spider.
Not this one.
Full
red
outside.
one. Yeah.
Yes. So Patrick's driving in the 4C Spider. Now this year again, we're going to have a little competition internally. So we've been just setting up and learning how it all works at lunch, getting things up and running, setting up the app, opening positions, finding out where we're at.
Yeah.
And between us, we're going to basically see who wins, and then we'll find out what prize we're going to set for ourselves at the end.
Definitely.
Using the T212 Trading 212 app. So pretty much it's game on.
Yep, I think so.
For now, we're going to go and explore the Alfa Romeo Museum.
Let's go.
Let's get started here with some of the prototypes that greet you as you come in. The first made with Zagato, went into production. The next car, the Scarabeo, I think you pronounce it. It's kind of like a bread van, but that didn't go into production. Only 3 of those. It's quite cool though. Super low to the ground. Then you have the Montreal. This is a prototype, but that car pretty famously went into build. And lastly, on this line, the Disco Volante Coupe. There were only 5 of those, but that obviously paid or started what we have now, the Touring Superleggera Disco Volante, which pays tribute to this car. And it's quite interesting for me, obviously having filmed the new one, to see the old and see the sort of design cues, like that sort of styling line all the way around it, and the general shape. Then you have the 33 Spider Cuneo, which is rather angular, quite different from that one, we can say, and kind of like a race car kind of thing. And then on this side, we have the Alfa Sud Caimano. I'm going to come and point at this because the pronunciation there, no doubt, completely wrong. Designed by Ital Design Giugiaro. So, onwards. Wow, look at this. Walking out into here, this is a pretty cool venue, museum, with all the cars. 15 horsepower in 1911. Sort of timeline of cars here coming through, 30s, 40s, 50s. All the way, where do we have at the end? The 60s cars over at the end, and then different levels, looking down. The history of Alfa Romeo in the room here. Ooh, the lovely 8C Competizione. Of course, I know it's the newest. It's not anything like some of the older cars, but it's such a pretty modern car. The V8 in there that makes a wonderful noise too. What a room. This is really cool. I'm never going to be able to show you all of this, by the way, guys. We'll just pick out some of the highlights. We'll start where it began. The Alfa 24 horsepower. So just Alfa, long before it was Alfa Romeo. 24 horsepower, could get to 100 kilometers an hour. 1910, this thing is. And I just learned from Misha, actually, from Boosted Boris, that fuel tank is actually the fuel tank to fuel the lights. That makes the lights work. It's kind of crazy. I mean, this thing's 107 years old. Quite different to a car nowadays, shall we say. Anyway, that quickly moved on, became smaller, lighter, more nimble with the Alfa 15 horsepower, the Corsa, the sporty version. See, lightweight, even back then, even over 100 years ago, it was about making things lighter, strip them out, take away some of the sort of like the folding roof, some of the size of the thing, make it less bulky. Even with less power, it goes faster. Then we've got an Alfa Romeo, the RL Supersport in 1925. Then it continues through the decades. Just whizzing back over to the 8C, it really is such a gorgeous car. It is just clean. There are no sort of vents or clutter or anything. It obviously has a noisy V8. There are only 500 coupes, 500 Spiders, and if you have a new Disco Volante, like I mentioned earlier, they take one of these, and sadly they have to cut it up to make the Disco Volante change the body panels. But it was built sort of working with Maserati, so it has that engine, that setup. And also earlier, we had the Sparco seats from one of these that we were looking at. But might be 10 years old now, but it is still a very good looking car, and this is the first sort of prototype, number 1. In a really, really nice colour. This is, of all reds, probably one of the very best. This is the Speed Room. You can see history going back here to 1923, the RL Targa Florio. This was the first time that cloverleaf was ever used on an Alfa Romeo. Obviously we know it now, the Quadrifoglio, Giulia Quadrifoglio, and the future version of the Stelvio. But particular attention to these two, 1930s. Both of these cars have 2 engines, not 1, but 2, literally controlled. So one side does one rear wheel, the other side does the other rear wheel, with 500 and something horsepower in the car. Single seater. Look at how the exhaust is right next to the seat as well. That's pretty cool. So let's continue. Goodness me, this is a room. And here we've got the 33 Stradale Prototipo. I know that car, I've seen that before. Just coming around, we have history everywhere. So mid-70s racing cars, those things just look savage weaponry, I think is pretty much the best way to sum that up. Then coming around, racing from different eras, the Formula One cars, the Brabham Alfa Romeo cars, late 70s, early 80s. Those are just crazy. I like the Martini livery on the red there. And then over here, the 155 DTM car as well. This really, guys, I've just given you a teaser of what is here. This is a proper museum and a half. Amazing, amazing place to visit. And lastly, this is what I need at home for my little collection of models. Well, I don't think I'll ever have that many, but that's a nice little touch to wrap things up as we head on up and out of here. What a place. Second time in a day, we're sitting in Sparco seats. You guys have pole.
We do.
What's about to happen?
We have no idea.
I'm going to take them all out.
Whatever will happen here,
I'm going to get the elbows out.
Well, 4D cinema.
We're watching the first video in 4D.
The first Shmee video. I don't think it's going to be a Shmee video. But I will join at the end of the line. This is really cool. Don't know what's about to happen, but glasses on. And let's go. How was that, guys?
Wet, very wet.
Interactive.
Yes, very interactive.
So we had water spraying
You
out
can see
there.
on the seat, if you look at the seat, Tim.
You mean you didn't want a wet t-shirt today?
Yeah, white t-shirt.
Oh, Misha.
Look at the seat and the glasses.
That was awesome fun,
Yeah.
to be fair. So we were sort of jumping in and out of different Alphas on a test ride.
And they go down really far, a lot farther than you might expect.
Yes.
Like, you're leaning over like this at some points, that's why you need a seatbelt.
Anywho, back to normal glasses. And that's how you leave. Off we go then. It's go time then, the last leg of today's journey. We're heading up towards Lake Como, so we've got about an hour to go. I haven't ended up swapping cars at all, still driving the GT8. We've been so distracted basically by the amazing places. We've been visiting Sparco and then at Alfa Romeo. I'll give the Giulia a drive obviously at some point during this trip. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's like. But for now, we've got some Autostrada, which means I can do that and just enjoy the noise. We're gonna head up to Lake Como, one of the most beautiful places to go. Should be pretty cool. Welcome to Lake Como. That is such a view, even though the clouds are up in the sky now. And I don't know what I'm doing. We're going through a tunnel and I'm not being noisy. Drop it second. There we go. It has to be done. It's pretty much a requirement in this car. But this part of Italy, Lake Como, Lake Garda, is just beautiful. Now, normally this road heading up towards the hotel where we're going has horrendous traffic at this time of day. But fingers crossed today is going to be all right. Just looks cool looking down there, looking all around us. But the last part of the drive today, then tomorrow we're going to be heading sort of up and over into the sort of good stuff over the other side. But this is not a bad way to end the first drive, first day of this trip. Imagination and picture if it was sunny.
Wouldn't that make a difference?
Oh yeah. We have made it. It's been rather wet for the last little bit of the drive today. It's gloomy and raining, but we've parked all the cars up in a kind of woodland scene, but that's quite cool in a strange way. This is the least picturesque place a Vanquish could ever be parked, but it seemed to work given the sort of ruts in the ground. It's quite hard actually to get cars up here, and even the Vanquish was sort of like literally whisper close to scraping down on the ground. But not a bad first day. Tomorrow we're going to set off from here, head up towards the adventures of the twisty roads. It's forecast to be sunny tomorrow, so fingers crossed that's going to be on our side. I've massively enjoyed just driving in the GT8, stretching its legs. It's now done probably about 900 miles in total on the car, so it's running and stretching and ready to be driven quite hard, I guess. Tomorrow we just filled up the cars just before our stop, so in the morning tomorrow we can go for it straight away. Other than the weather though, nice day, lovely to visit Sparco, to visit the Alfa Romeo Museum, which I thoroughly recommend if you're ever able to get there, because that was a fantastic attraction, like as a venue to visit. So Fuel Faction Douai with Trading 212 is underway. We're on the road, and tomorrow will mark day 2, where we're going to be driving on lots of lovely roads. We're going to be heading over towards the Dolomites, but for now we've got to go check in, chill out for the evening, so I will catch up with you again tomorrow. Cheers!